These days, whenever we open a company's financial report, two interesting terms usually catch our eye: EBIT and EBITDA. But what do they actually mean? I'm sure that even among people who have been buying and selling stocks for months or even years, including those of you watching this video, 9 out of 10 still don't fully understand these two terms. Unfortunately, if you are analyzing a company's financial health or considering investing in its stock, it is nearly impossible to make sound decisions without knowing them. Let's start with EBIT. The full form of EBIT is earnings before interest and taxes, and it represents profit before interest and taxes are deducted. In simple terms, EBIT shows how much a company earns from its core business operations. When calculating this figure, two main expenses are intentionally excluded: interest paid on loans and taxes paid to the government. The reason is that interest expenses depend on how the company is financed, through debt or equity, and taxes vary from country to country, which may not fully reflect the real performance of the business. Therefore, the purpose of EBIT is to show how efficiently a company can generate profit from its main operations. Let's imagine a company called Trump's Donkey with an annual revenue of $1 million. The company spends a total of $700,000 on operating costs like salaries, rent, and raw materials. In this case, the profit from its core business operations, that is, EBIT, is $300,000. However, the company also has $50,000 in interest payments on bank loans and $40,000 in taxes. These expenses are not included in EBIT because EBIT ignores financing and tax structures to measure the operational performance of the business alone. As a small reminder, this video is the third part of our foundational analysis lessons, which are presented as a series. All the episodes are added to the Stock Market Lessons playlist on my channel. If you want to deepen your knowledge in this area and educate yourself, don't forget to watch all the videos in the playlist. My main goal is to train my viewers to become truly successful and knowledgeable investors. Also, I have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and once we reach that milestone, I will fulfill the special promise I mentioned in my other videos. Now let's move on to the second term, EBITDA. This stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization, which represents profit before deducting interest, taxes, and non-cash depreciation and amortization expenses. In other words, EBITDA is calculated by adding back depreciation to EBIT. Depreciation is important because it is not an actual cash outflow but an accounting expense recorded on paper. For example, when a company purchases factory equipment, machinery, servers, or other technical assets, it pays cash once, but the expense is spread over several years in accounting records. EBITDA ignores these paper-based costs and shows more clearly how much actual cash the business generates from its core operations. Returning to Trump's Donkey, we mentioned that its EBIT is $300,000. Now, suppose it also has $100,000 in depreciation expenses. Adding these together, the company's EBITDA is $400,000. This means that although the company shows a $300,000 profit on paper, it actually generates $400,000 in cash flow from its operations. This difference is especially important for capital-intensive companies with large equipment and infrastructure costs, and EBITDA helps show the true strength of such businesses. To better understand EBIT and EBITDA, we need to compare them. EBIT is considered a more conservative measure, showing real operational profit, including accounting expenses like depreciation, and therefore reflects how efficiently daily business operations perform. EBITDA is a more optimistic measure because it ignores depreciation and provides a value closer to cash flow, highlighting the company's ability to generate cash. EBIT is particularly accurate for service sectors, tech companies, consulting, and software businesses, as these companies generally have minimal equipment or infrastructure expenses. In these cases, depreciation is low or negligible, so EBITDA can make the company look better than it really is, while EBIT gives a more accurate picture. EBITDA, on the other hand, is more suitable for capital-intensive industries like manufacturing, oil and gas, telecommunications, logistics, and aviation, where expensive equipment and infrastructure lead to high depreciation. In such cases, EBIT might undervalue the company, while EBITDA shows the actual cash-generating strength of the business. This is why investors love EBITDA. It shows a company's real cash-generating ability, allows easier comparison across countries with different tax systems, and is widely used to evaluate a company's debt repayment potential. For example, banks and financial institutions often ask, how many times can this company comfortably pay its debt with its EBITDA? However, it's crucial to note that EBITDA can also be misleading. It can hide some real costs, especially the cash needed for equipment replacement, technical maintenance, and future investments. That's why the saying, EBITDA is not everything, everything is so popular among investors. Since EBITDA is a widely used and often confusing term, I want you to internalize it deeply. Imagine a company with a factory, and the machines in that factory are getting old. They might break down soon, forcing the company to buy new ones. But in accounting, the machine's cost is spread over several years as depreciation. EBITDA ignores this and says, these are paper costs, not real cash outflows. The problem is that while depreciation is not a current cash outflow, that cash will eventually have to be spent. If a machine breaks and isn't replaced, the business stops. This means a company might look very strong on EBITDA, but it may face significant cash needs in the coming years. EBITDA ignores these future obligations, potentially overstating the company's health. For example, imagine an airline with very high EBITDA. Everything looks perfect on paper, but if the planes are old, the company will need to buy new ones or perform expensive maintenance in the next 2 to 3 years. These costs haven't yet appeared, so EBITDA doesn't show them, but they will severely impact future cash flow. An investor looking only at EBITDA might think, this company is excellent, but a careful investor will see that high EBITDA may not be sustainable. That's why investors say, EBITDA is not everything. EBITDA shows current cash generation, but not whether the company can maintain it. A smart investor always analyzes EBITDA alongside EBIT, real cash flow, and future investment needs. In short, EBIT reflects the real operational strength of a business, while EBITDA shows its cash-generating potential. The most accurate analysis comes from reading both together. If you understand this, you've grasped the topic fully. Finally, if you want to get up to $30 in free stocks or cryptocurrency, you can register on the QuantFury platform using my referral code via the pinned link in the comments to claim your gift. If you enjoy my videos, you can also support me by buying me a cup of coffee through another pinned link in the comments, which helps me stay motivated to keep making videos.